Welcome to this week's environmental news, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the show where you get fact-checked coverage of U.S. zero waste, circular economy, recycling, food waste, and composting issues. Today we spotlight the legislation, industry battles, and dirty little secrets shaping our path forward. Today's picks are some of the most consequential and controversial U.S. stories yet. I'm your host, Stacey Savage, aka the Texas Trash Talker, founder and CEO of Zero Waste Strategies. We help clients reduce waste for increased revenue, deeper customer loyalty, employee empowerment, and to drive a green marketing edge. Now let's get into it. With the good, let's start with the biggest win. Maine recently became the 12th state to enforce a sweeping organic waste landfill ban, requiring businesses and households to divert food scraps and other compostables. But this was no overnight success. Over the last decade, states like Massachusetts, Vermont, California, and New York have piloted bans leading to increased composting infrastructure, local collection routes, and a huge boost in food donations due to landfill tipping fee hikes. Maine's rollout taps into a national trend. Just in 2025, 32 states introduced about 100 bills on food waste, 19 of which are now law. These cover not only landfill bans, but also act as liability shields for food donations and direct support for composting startups. Maine's success builds on its strong rural network of farmers and food hubs. Its organics ban is expected to divert tens of thousands of tons of waste from landfill, slash methane emissions, and feed more people through food rescue networks. Advocates say the policy will drive innovation throughout supply chains. Retailers must redesign operations and municipalities must launch new composting programs, all against the backdrop of growing U.S. methane regulations. So why does this matter? Historic landfill bans have been proven catalysts. California's own law resulted in a 30% boost in industrial composting sites and a sharp drop in municipal methane. Now, Maine's policy could pave the way for regional cooperation in food rescue and green economic growth if local governments step up for implementation. Now, on to the bad. Texas has gone from breakout composting success to industry anxiety. The Texas Composting Council hailed the state's rapid expansion of organics processing just 3 years ago, with urban hubs like Austin and Houston investing in commercial composting and curbside programs. But Senate Bill 2078, signed earlier this year, represents a major policy reversal. The law adds strict requirements for new compost facility siting, more public hearings, expanded neighbor notification, and a host of new environmental, flood, and traffic studies. Local governments gained more power to veto proposals, and rumors swirled about possible ties to anti-landfill lobbying and industrial neighbors worried about odors or PFAS chemicals. Those are the forever chemicals. Historically, these kinds of siting laws have stifled innovation and resulted in compost deserts. Those are regions where waste diversion stagnates and landfill capacity is maintained at the expense of circular economy goals. The U.S. Composting Council warns that Texas's move risks reversing climate gains and strangling small business entrepreneurs who built the sector up from scratch. Why does this matter? So composting keeps organic waste out of landfills. It returns nutrients to the soil, and it cuts methane by up to 50%. If Texas stalls out, the ripple effects may be felt nationwide, especially as other states weigh similar policies. Advocates fear an era of regulatory whiplash where progress is constantly under threat. And now for the ugly. This year, a major expose revealed how the Grocery Manufacturers Association, or the GMA, which represents giants like General Mills and Kraft Heinz, spent millions secretly to block state-level food safety laws. What appears as a transparency push was actually a coordinated legal challenge, a PR blitz, and a lobbying effort to keep industry-friendly labeling standards, especially as more states seek stricter rules on additives, allergens, and food waste disclosures. This tactic isn't new. The GMA and partners have historically fought environmental and nutrition regulations. Think GMO labeling battles from 2016 and years of resistance to clear expiration labels and ingredient lists. What's new is the scale of backfire. Settlements imposed some of the largest penalties ever for campaign finance violations and exposed deep mistrust between policymakers, the public, and the food industry. So why does this matter? When big food can quietly undermine reform, consumers lose transparency and health protections. The backlash is now spurring new campaigns for federal and state accountability, more aggressive journalism, and activist calls for open source labeling standards, setting the stage for a wider debate about corporate power in the green sector and in our food systems. So this week's stories expose hidden barriers and historic wins. Maine's organics ban and policy momentum could build a truly circular food system, and other states could follow their lead. Texas's composting reversal shines a huge spotlight on the risks of overregulation and NIMBY politics, or not in my backyard, which blocks low carbon infrastructure. And industry lobby money remains a core obstacle to honest food labeling and safety, demanding citizen action and lots of watchdog vigilance. So what can you do? You can bring Maine's policy to your local decision makers and build the grassroots support required for meaningful organics reform. You can also push your state and local officials to modernize compost facility siting and permitting without stifling small businesses and climate solutions. And support investigative media and environmental watchdogs fighting corporate secrecy for truly transparent, circular systems. Go ahead and hit subscribe and drop your comments. Share local news. Maybe some things are going on in your own community that you would like us to know about. I'm Stacey Savage, aka the Texas Trash Talker. Until next week, bye y'all.